Happy Friday. As a matter of fact, it is Tryday Friday. I am Kim Kesty, Creative Director here at FSJ and Spellbinders, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm, of course, happy it's Friday, but I'm also happy because it's a very special weekend right now. Special weekend for me because I am a mom, and of course for all of you moms out there. So happy Mother's Day weekend. And guess what? I'm going to be making a Mother's Day card today for my very own mom because, you know, please tell me I'm not the last one out there that's still making a Mother's Day card. I know that Nicole was in our craft room yesterday getting some supplies to whip up her cards. So I'm kind of, last minute, but at least it's not Saturday, right? So Tryday Friday is going to be all about teaching you a fun new technique as I create this card. So let's take a look at the stamps we're going to use. These guys are kind of a fun combination of, at least these two, a fun combination of florals. And then I pulled out this stamp set, which is called Annual Celebrations, and it's so fun because it not only has this really cute Mother's Day sentiment on it, but also has a whole bunch of celebrations that you're going to use all throughout the year, including Father's Day and St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh, I could go on and on. This is an amazing stamp set. It's one of our very best sellers. And again, it's called Annual Celebration. So I'm going to be using that set from that guy. And then when I get to the stamping part of my project here, I pulled both of these stamp sets out because they just have a lot of fun small florals. And what I'm going to try to do is attempt to do kind of a little layered up, build my own little flower garden thing here. So I want stamp sets from both of these. They're so cute. And they're actually really fun stamp sets for Mother's Day regardless. This one's called Chosen Family and this one's called Lead Me. So super cute. All right, so I'm going to grab out my cardstock here. This is just good old whipped cream. And I'm going to stamp my little sentiment first because I want to be able to build around it. So I just have got, actually, you know what? I'm seeing here already, I'm like, I prepped my thing up really quick. So I do have my stamp right here, but I've actually already stamped it in black licorice. I knew I was going to save a few minutes on the video today. And I'm not going to adhere it or anything yet, but I want to use this to create my placement for when I'm adding my flowers. Does that make sense? So I just fussy cut around it, just trimmed out, around the little Celebrate Mom, super cute. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring in some of my flowers. The very first one I'm going to do is Rustic Rose, and I am going to teach you about doing some second generation stamping, which is a little bit different with our True Color Fusion ink. But this very first stamp I'm going to do just direct to paper. So I'm going to put 3 of these little guys, and again I'm going to use my little sentiment. I'm going to keep the sentiment in the middle and I'm just going to use it to kind of help me place my flowers around. Does that make sense? And I do want it to spread a little bit bigger, but this gives me a good idea of where to start, right? A good starting point. Okay, so I like odd numbers, so I'm just going to start with 3 of these main flowers, kind of starting for the basic part of my card. And now I was talking about second generation stamping, and I'm going to bring back this extra whipped cream I had. Typical second generation stamping is where you're going to be able to go in with your ink. This is bubble gum right here. And a lot of times you can stamp again a second time. But as you can see with our True Color Fusion ink, that second impression is virtually invisible. Like the ink soaks up so well into the paper and has such good coverage on the paper that by the time you get to stamp number 2, it's virtually gone. So I'm going to give you a tip on how you can get the look in, just a little bit of a alternate method, I guess we'll call it. So I'm going to ink this guy up. And before going, I'll just do a plain one first, just to show you how they look side by side. And so now before going to my paper, I'm going to use one of my clear blocks, and you could use a Clearview sheet or anything you want. And I'm just going to stamp off once on the block and then come to my paper. So now you can see that I have an actual, what I would call a much clearer second generation stamp. So again, stamp, go off the paper onto your block, and then back to the paper. So much difference between this guy and this guy. Now I'm going to actually bring it into my card project now and do the same thing. I thought it was kind of a fun way to share with you. Just don't forget to go back to your block every time. A fun way to get the look. And the second generation look that we've got going on right here is really pretty. It's got kind of a soft, dreamy look. Now it's not as clear of an impression, you know, as your first one is right here. But I really like the look. In particular for this card, that's exactly the style I'm going for. Ooh, yeah, nice close-up, right? So again, original and then second generation. But that's exactly the look I want for this card. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe a little bit off my block here. And I'm going to go to a different color. Now this time it's going to be like drama mama here. So I've got Riverstone. So I wanted this kind of in the pink and gray palette. So I've got Riverstone. I've got this much bigger kind of branchy, leafy thing here. And again, I'll show you what it looks like full strength. How do you like that for a stamping term? Full strength stamping. So pretty dark, right? Pretty dark and bold, like a little bit too bold for what I want. So again, I'm going to come back to my block, stamp one off. And then that second generation is much prettier. Just gives me a really soft, pretty look for this particular project. So this is a little bit different color palette for me. I don't always go with the really soft, dreamy colors. I guess that's just my stamping style, I suppose. But I thought it was fun for this Mother's Day project. And I'm going to come in with Peaches and Cream. I feel like I whipped those lids off really fast. So now I've got Peaches and Cream ink. And this one I'm not going to second generation because it's already a pretty soft color. I'm just going to come in and add some of these fun little berries. And you can see as I start filling in that I'm kind of going in where the gaps are. And I'm not worrying too much about these little stems showing or anything. I can bring back my sentiment and kind of double check where I'm going. It's starting to be pretty, right? It's starting to build up. I love it. And then let's see, Tin Pail. So these are kind of all in the same family, the Riverstone and the Tin Pail. This is our lightest shade of gray here at Fun Stamper's Journey. And this branch is pretty because it's a really long, kind of more dainty one. So I could fill this one in a little bit more than 3 times because it is so light. It doesn't have a lot of weight on my card. So that guy ends up, one more maybe. So again, now the fun part is just coming along and just filling in, you know, any little gaps you see. You can just really have fun with no matter what stamp you have. So you already used that one, that one, that one. I feel like I'm pretty close. Do you guys see any like major holes in my little foliage here? I don't think so. I kind of like it. Okay, so when I got this far with the stamp, I will share something with you, kind of funny. In my stamping process, when I was working on finishing the card, now that I have these really soft, kind of almost watercolor looks, I looked at my sentiment, which I had stamped, as you know, in black licorice, and then I thought, you know what? It's a little bit too dark. It's a little bit too bold. I think it stands out too much. So I went ahead and dug into one of our other colors that I don't use really often, but I love it. Especially when I rediscovered it today. I don't know if you guys do that when you have particular ink colors maybe use over and over and over again, and then you go back to your stash and you're kind of browsing around. It's like, ooh, I found, you know, an ink pen I haven't used in a long time, and it kind of becomes your new favorite. So when I created this card, that's exactly what happened. I rediscovered my love of rock candy. So it's just a little bit slightly lighter black, or I don't know if you would call it a soft black. Just going to stamp it here a couple times. And then I'm going to put the black, our true black licorice next to it. And that you can see, and hopefully that shows up on the video, that it is just that much softer of a black, that it's not so quite so dark and bold. I'll probably get comments on there going, sorry Kim, it looks exactly the same. But I don't think it does, and when I show you my finished card, I think that you will agree. So I've got this guy, and then I just went ahead and just added a Peaches and Cream matte. So as you know, all of our papers coordinate with our ink colors, and everything matches beautifully. And then I went ahead and trimmed it with these little guys. So this is one more tip for you to try. Also dig in your stash for your fun little embellishments. Now this happens to be an embellishment pack, and I have obviously used quite a few of the pieces, but this one's called All the Things, which is pretty funny because it is all the things. It's like glitter drops and faceted drops and sequins and all kinds of fun things. It's one of our embellishment packs, and these come packed together. And I normally wouldn't go to look for this because obviously these colors are like quite bright compared to my project. But then I started noticing these little guys, which are just the really soft, pretty pinky peachy ones. And look how tiny, they're so cute. They've got that little facet on there. So keep in mind to go back and just dig through your embellishments and look for those, little hidden gems in there. So let me show you how my finished card came out and see what you guys think. And here it is. So you can see that I've got the layering going on. I've got those fun little gems. I just used 3 of the little faceted gems on there. I think they add just that little touch of sparkle. But otherwise, this is what I would call a fairly flat card, pretty easy to mail. I'm lucky my mom lives in town, so I won't have to mail it. I'll be able to give it to her on Sunday. But it would be a great card that would be easy to mail. And you can see my little rock candy little sentiment right there. Shows up nice and really kind of complements the rest of the soft colors in my card. So a little bit different of a card style project for me, I would say. As you probably have noticed if you watch these Tryday Fridays, that I tend to go for the bolder, brighter colors normally. But I'm really happy with how this project came out, and most importantly, I think my mom will absolutely love it. So if you want to check out any of these products, you can visit us at funstampersjourney.com. All of our products are there. You just hit the shop button and go to town. And of course, as you make projects, please tag us at Fun Stampers Journey, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you hang out. We always love to see your projects. And again, have an amazing Mother's Day weekend. I hope that it is wonderful for everyone out there, and that, as always, you enjoy bringing paper to life.